Somewhere along the way, the phrase Proverbs 31 woman stopped sounding like praise and started sounding like a test. You picture someone who wakes before dawn, runs a business, sews every stitch of clothing, and feeds a full household without ever once looking tired. Something in your chest tightens, because that is not your life, not even close. Maybe someone has even held this passage over you like a measuring stick, proof that you are already falling short of some impossible bar. So before we go one verse further, hear this clearly. That exhaustion, that quiet guilt, it was never what this poem was written to produce in you. Welcome back to Rooted Daily. Today we are opening Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31, and reading it the way it was actually written. In the original Hebrew, it is an acrostic poem, 22 lines, each one beginning with the next letter of the alphabet. That is a memory device for a poem, not a daily schedule for a woman. Look one verse earlier, Proverbs 31 verse 1. This whole chapter opened as a mother's instruction to her son, King Lemuel, about the kind of wisdom worth choosing in a wife. It was never aimed directly at women as a demand to perform. So let's meet her, not as a superhero, but as a real woman living out real wisdom across a real life. Number 1, she is trustworthy. Proverbs 31 verse 11 says her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. Notice what the poem names first, not her accomplishments, but the simple, steady fact that people can build their lives on her word. Think about the friend whose yes actually means yes, who shows up when she says she will, who never leaves you wondering where you stand with her. That quiet reliability, built one small kept promise at a time, is exactly what verse 11 is describing. So ask yourself honestly this week, in the small promises, the ones nobody is checking on, are you someone whose word can be trusted completely? That is where this poem begins, and it is where real character always begins too. Number 2, she works with eager hands. Verses 13, 15, and 17 describe her rising while it is still night to provide for her household, and setting about her work with real vigor. This is willing diligence, not frantic hustle chasing approval. Picture the ordinary version of this, getting up 10 minutes earlier to pray before the house wakes up, or finishing a task well, even when no one will ever notice or thank you for it. That is eager hands, lived out in an average Tuesday. The point was never to prove your worth through exhaustion. It was to work like your effort actually matters, because it does, whether or not anyone is watching you do it. Number 3, she is shrewd in business. She considers a field and buys it, verse 16 says, and plants a vineyard from her own earnings. Her trading is profitable, verse 18 adds. This woman is a landowner and a businesswoman, wise with money on her own terms. That looks like the everyday version of considering a field before you buy it. Reading the numbers honestly before a big purchase, saving with intention, thinking 2 steps ahead instead of reacting to whatever feeling shows up today. Wisdom with resources is not opposed to faith, it is a form of it. Stewarding well what is actually in your hands is part of this poem's picture of a wise life. Pause with me for a second. Of these first 3, trustworthy, diligent, or wise with resources, which one do you most want to grow in right now? Tell me in the comments, honestly, no judgment here. 4 more traits are still ahead, including the one that actually matters most. Number 4, she is generous. Verse 20 says she opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. Notice where this sits in the poem, right beside her business success, not competing against it. Generosity here costs something real. It is giving a portion of what you worked hard for, even while you are still building your own household, still watching your own numbers carefully. So this week, look for one specific need you can actually meet. Not a vague feeling of wanting to help someday, but a real hand extended to a real person. Number 5, she is prepared, not anxious. Her household is clothed in scarlet, well-made, and ready for winter, verse 21 says. And verse 25 adds, she is clothed with strength and dignity, so she can laugh at the days to come. That is peace built by preparation, not peace built by pretending nothing hard is coming. Doing the quiet work now, the budget, the plan, the honest conversation, so an uncertain season does not catch you completely undone. You do not have to predict everything to be ready for it. You just have to do the next faithful thing today, the way she planted the vineyard long before she needed the wine. Number 6, she speaks with wisdom. Verse 26 says, faithful instruction is on her tongue. Her mouth is named as deliberately in this poem as her hands because what you say shapes a household just as much as what you do. Think of the difference between a sharp word thrown out in frustration and a steady word that actually helps someone through a hard afternoon. Both are available to you every single day, and only one of them builds anything. Before you speak today, especially to the people closest to you, ask one simple question. Is this instruction faithful, or is it just noise? That small pause changes more than you would expect. Number 7, and this is the one the whole poem has been building toward. Proverbs 31 verse 30 says, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. After 20 verses describing everything she does, the poem does not end by praising her productivity. It ends by praising her reverence for God. That is the actual center of this whole passage, not verse 15, verse 30. So the real question this poem asks is not, can you do all of this? It is this. When no one is measuring your output, do you still choose to fear the Lord quietly, faithfully, in the ordinary corners of your life? Here is the honest truth this whole passage has been pointing toward. This was never one woman doing all of this on the same day, exhausted and stretched thin. It is a composite portrait, wisdom gathered from an entire lifetime. Businesswoman, mother, tradeswoman, worshiper, poured into 22 lines for emphasis. Every trait we named, the trust, the diligence, the shrewdness, the generosity, the preparation, the wise words, all of it is simply what fearing the Lord looks like lived out in an ordinary life. It was never a separate bar to clear. You are not failing some impossible standard tonight. You are invited into the very same wisdom, lived out in your own specific season, at your own pace. Here is a short prayer for you. God, teach me to fear you above every fleeting thing I chase, and let that show up in how I treat the people in front of me today. Amen. If this passage feels lighter now than when we started, subscribe to Rooted Daily. We would love to have you back next week.